Welcome to this week's Terrace Bay Council meeting. Council approved upgrades for the local golf course, helping improve facilities ahead of the upcoming season. The Foodcycler program continues to attract more interest from residents. And finally, Council confirmed long-term support for the library, ensuring continued access to programs and shared resources. Now here's tonight's agenda.
Land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Nishnabik and the Métis. Additions, deletions, or amendments. We have two additions. 6.1E student council report and 6.1F May 4th regular meeting of council. Is there any other? Yeah, hearing none. I have a motion moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved by council approve the agenda for the regular council meeting held April 7th, 2026 as amended. All in favor? Carried. Disclosures of interest. I have one regarding the golf course request for in-kind assistance. Any other? Hearing none. Adoption of minutes. I have a motion moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held for March 16th, 2026 be approved as presented. Or Sean?
Just change that to approved as amended. Given the noted, also Daniel's noted error or omission, so we'll fix that when we publish them.
Moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held March 16th, 2026 be approved as amended. All in favor? Carried. Next one, minutes of the hearing held under section 8.6 of bylaw 32-2024. We have a motion moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Webb. Resolved the council. There's no
Just give him for a second there to pass the minutes.
Chris, moved by Chris, seconded by Rick. Yeah, all in favor? Here. Next item, report from administration, John Southern Golf Club request for in-kind assistance.
Hey, your worship, so the request is there in writing from the president. They're officially requesting some help in the town with snow removal for the greens if possible. As always, they're volunteers led by Ken and Paul are getting things going, but on behalf of the public to officially ask the town for help removing the snow from the greens with Ken and Paul leading the way. So administration doesn't have an issue with this, just given the golf course had come to us with sort of a plan to move forward and then didn't, kind of finalize that plan before we passed our budget. Right now, the only thing the township has in officially from the golf course would be the 40,000 they request every year, a portion of which is going towards the finalization of the irrigation project. So keep that in mind. But this is an in-kind donation. You'll see a theme of donations on tonight's agenda, so we'll talk about it collectively once we get to the last one, if council desires.
Any questions on that?
No. Any idea how many hours there you would suspect, or just take what you get kind of thing?
Yeah, well, Ryan's got to punch some holes for the greens and you use a snow blower, right?
Yeah.
And then the plan is to use the trackless if that can be used on the greens. My guess, 24 hours. Just to punch the whole rows so the greens probably take most of it.
I was guessing 2 days.
Yeah.
So we're in the ballpark. Okay. That's helpful, thanks.
A motion moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Webb. Resolved that council agree to assist the Augusta Golf Course with snow removal from the greens. All in favor? Next one, John, is from the Superior Classic Card Club.
Your worship, so there is a request there, came into Public Works via text message, so I just forwarded it into an email, actually. Mr. Paul said it forwarded to his text message to me via email, so that's how I printed it out. So it's from Mr. Riley, who serves that committee. Looking to extending the concrete launch pad another 50 feet, and that's both lanes. And that would lessen the transition between concrete and asphalt, resulting in better traction for cars. So, Ryan, any comments?
Just that, they already have a concrete launch pad, they're just looking to extend it, it's not really gonna change anything any further than it already been. That's what we ever went back to an airport, we were gonna have to do some asphalt work, I assume, I don't know if they would have missed the concrete, maybe they would. But realistically,
So all this is for, Ryan, is we're gonna dig up the
no,
asphalt.
they're not asking for any help, they're just asking for permission.
Okay.
They have some contractors that have volunteered, they have some contractors that are doing anything, but they haven't asked for any help. Other than just permission to be allowed to do.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Any sort of building permit required or one of those,
Not to my knowledge. It's no longer an operating airport, hasn't been for quite some time.
Yeah.
So really it's, we're just allowing them to make an alteration to our facility. I mean, we can check. I don't think there would be a standard necessarily. They are hiring a concrete contractor to provide, so.
it's helpful.
Is it our obligation to oversee any of this process by chance, because it is owned by the town and they're making an alteration to the track? Is it maybe prudent for us to have somebody from the town to go and oversee this situation?
So I definitely think we should be consulted when they want to make a change like this. I don't know if that was a shared expectation when we first started discussing it with them, which is why it's come forward to council now to get permission. But I would think Ryan can oversee, what's going on when it's going on, make sure it's the 50 feet, not 150, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Well, as long as it's within the parameters and there's no cost to us, I mean, it's something I think, because like I say, it's town property and we should oversee something in that situation. Just on your comment too, Care. So thank you.
Other questions? Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved that council agrees to allow the Superior Classics Card Club to modify the runway surface at the airport by extending the concrete launch pad 50 feet in each lane. All in favor? Carried. Next one, John, is from the Sullivan Chamber of Commerce to waive the fees for the bowling alley.
So yeah, this is the one that had come into council, we've shared prior to. They're basically looking just for a waiver of fees at the bowling alley for their bowling event, taking place sometime between the 18th or sorry, Saturday the 18th or Saturday the 25th. So it's gonna use both curling club and the bowling alley. Curling club is the curling club's issue, it's still under their control. And even if it isn't, that's a separate thing they're asking for. For the bowling alley, it's $125 an hour as per the most recent fees and charges. So if they had a 2-hour event, it'd be approximately $250.
Plus shoe rentals and all that.
Yeah, I don't know that we charge for shoe rentals, but let me just double check. Sorry. I think I think shoe rentals are included in the rental when you pay $125, so.
Yeah, because I think Mandy said that they're charging a fee, but that fee is gonna be used to buy the food and stuff like that, eh?
Food and drinks, yeah.
Charge for the bowling. Okay, any questions on that one?
So this 125 is what you said?
250.
250. Oh, if it was a 2-hour event, it's 125 an hour is the 1-hour alley, 1-hour room rental, so.
So then this, John, would come out of our
So
budgetary.
all you're doing here is waiving the fees, there's no expense incurred that way, so.
You lose the revenue.
Yeah, you lose the
You're
revenue.
losing revenue, but yeah, you're not taking it out of a fund anymore.
So one of the things, just to speak on this in general, one of the things administration has looked at is the policy we do run under. It runs more the other way, where you're actually reimbursing for a cost, so we're actually shelling out dollars, we're not just waiving fees. one of the things that we've been talking about internally is just changing the form and changing the policy, so there is a box there for fee waiver. Just to be clear, because the way I chatted extensively with Councillor Duno about this, the way it's kind of set up, it fits, but the actual request is kind of, you would pay the entire cost first and we reimburse you. Where it's probably just easier to waive the fees in the first place if that's how the request came in. So we can change the policy and amend the forms, and we'll bring that forward to a future meeting. So
Okay.
certainly, the policies from 2013, it's not ancient, but it just maybe needs some updating. A lot of what we deal with at the table here in terms of requests for fee waivers, probably more than donations. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of the donation requests are to donate the fees for the hall or the fees for the space. So
Yeah, part of my kind of questions around that was really, I would like to not, I mean, we're pretty generous as a council, I think we'll continue to be that. But I don't ever want it to come back and be like, well, you gave this group that and not us. Like, I'd love to have just a very clear, this is our kind of our checklist, who's gonna be using it, why.
Yeah.
You know, this one is actually, in my opinion, this one's actually a little bit different. This is a bunch of business owners coming together to have a party, which is, you know, great for the business community. But you know, they could, that's revenue that we're missing out on it, as opposed to a school group who doesn't have revenue to give us. So, you know, but having a kind of a clear policy or even just a checklist, even for administration to not have to bring it to council, just to go, hey, it meets this criteria, and boom, it's done. It's just a simple timeline.
Mhm.
I mean, I think they asked for a response soon. Well, they sent it the day after our last council meeting. So that was 3 weeks ago. Anyways.
Okay, any other
What
comments?
I see this as too, it's a win-win for us. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a team building exercise, what's happening for the Agri-Sovereign Chamber of Commerce.
I just want to know who of township is going to represent us at the Chamber of Commerce bowling event. That's really what I want to know.
It seems to me it's a team building and it's a good exercise that I'm glad we're getting behind this.
we work together with the chamber as obviously.
Well, we're a member, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Are we not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we should support it.
so Jason's gonna go?
No, no other questions?
No.
Okay, we have motion moved by Councilor St. Louis, second by Councilor Duno, resolve that council agrees to waive the fees to the bowling alley for the Almsum Chamber of Commerce event, business bowling palooza. All in favor? Terry? And the next one, John, is for the Superior Classics Car Club again about waiving the fees for the audiovisual equipment.
So sorry about the form, not sure, basically, as Mayor Malashewski alludes, that's exactly what they're asking for, is a waiver of the fees. So they already get the room rental, I believe it's, when I checked with Michelle today, it is free, as they're a not-for-profit group. But in 2025, in December, council will recall, we introduced new fees and charges and a new schedule for audiovisual equipment. Part of the reason for doing that was to replace that equipment over time. We recoup some of the money back. So they meet, if, as far as I know, approximately 12 times a year, so it could be 12 plus or minus. So at the, sorry, just to pull up the schedule. So at the current schedule, the projector, the laptop and the TV in the room would be 40, 35 and 20. But we have a bundle, self setup one at 70. So it would cost them approximately $70 per event. So if they were a for-profit group or a different type of group, they would pay the room rental fee on top of that hybrid bundle. And they do use all the equipment in here when they are in here. If they use just the TV and the owl cam, it would be 35. They brought their own laptop. If it was just a laptop and TV, it's 50, and if it's laptop and projector, 65. So the pricing I gave you earlier of 40 plus 35 plus the sort of the 20, the 70 is actually giving a bit of a discount already, just so you know.
So $840 for the year.
Plus or minus whatever meetings they. So.
Any discussion on that?
How often does that equipment get rented or used?
If the meeting's in this room, odds are it's being used. By them, it's every meeting, because they have members from other municipalities attending. A lot of the meetings are virtual, so 7 people here, Terrace.
Not just with that organization, but with all other, like, anyone that uses our equipment.
We've seen an uptick, certainly since since the end of the pandemic and we've started renting out our rooms again on a more consistent basis. I know one of the reasons for bringing this in was staff time dedicated to actually troubleshooting for setup. So it can go both ways. You bring your own laptop, you might save some money, but you probably might have to ask us for help to set it up on your laptop, which becomes problematic for us. So we're trying to recoup some of those costs. But really, I think the big driver behind it was the replacement of the equipment eventually, putting it into a fund or at least just being cognizant that it does have a set lifetime essentially.
Yeah. My feeling is that we put that fee schedule in for a reason, which is what you just said. So yeah. I'm tempted to stick with it.
I agree with you. They already get the room at a discount and we put that schedule in.
Town Wilson does give the club a lot of other in-kind stuff also.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to say no.
Bill?
I'm agreeing with what was delivered here from administration. I mean, December the 15th, we as council, passed those schedule of fees, and I'm agreeing with Councilor doing that we stick with those schedule of fees and go forward in that same regard.
Chris?
They're nonprofit, correct?
Yeah.
I'm fine with waiving fees.
Not me.
I don't see anyone else. I don't want to waive the fees either. Then, like John said, it's sooner or later that stuff's gonna have to be replaced, and we put it in the budget, and we can't keep putting it in the budget and keep giving it away. So, in my opinion, anyway. So, but there is a motion on the floor, and I'll read it. Resolved that council agrees to waive the fees for use of audiovisual equipment for the Spirit Classic Cart Club meetings. Carried, defeated, all in favor? Opposed?
You're asking we're opposed to the motion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of waiving the fees. Yeah.
It's the way you said it, I wanted to make sure.
6.1, Chris, are you gonna read that?
Yeah. So, yeah, good evening. Student councilor McGrath sends her regrets. CI show this weekend and they're practicing. She still did come up with her breakdown. I forwarded it on your emails and I'll just read it aloud for people online and in the room here. First up, Lakesville High School update. So on March 24th, some students attended a career fair in Niprock High School in Red Rock, pardon me. The event was hosted by the Red Rock Indian Band and gave students the opportunity to explore over 40 different career booths and meet the representatives from each group. Students from Terrace Bay Public School and St. Martin's were also attended. It was a great opportunity for students to learn about their options for careers and education pathways after high school. On March 30th, MAD came into the school and representative led a presentation for high school students and from 3 of our feeder elementary school schools, They helped to bring some awareness and information about intoxicated driving, the consequences of it, and how to help prevent it in our communities. Information like this is important, especially for our new drivers. For sports, badminton team has been working hard. They're off the marathon tomorrow morning, and the finals on the 15th of April. On the 26th of March, the gym held the elementary school basketball tournament. Teams from all 5 elementary schools in our area participated. And I should add to that, a lot of our high school students coach the elementary school teams, which is great to see too. Great. Community update. Local area figure skating club has set this year's date for their annual ice show, which is this weekend approaching, the 11th and 12th in Scriber. And the North Shore Dance Company has set the date for their year-end recital on May 9th. It's going to be held at the high school. So that's their update. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Thank you, Chris. Next one is for the May 4th meeting, and John and Rebecca are both away that day, so the meeting, we have a motion moved by Councillor Dubé, second by Councillor Webb. Resolved that council agree to cancel the May 4th regular meeting of council. Any questions on that? All in favor? Carried. And Stacy, you're up, the Foodcycler program.
Yes, good evening, council. So after the presentation to council on February 18th, 2025, Foodcycle Science had drafted a proposal for a second pilot program for Terrace Bay, reintroducing the community to its improved compost alternative with the goal of having 50 more homes in Terrace Bay utilizing the Foodcycler, compared to the first pilot program of 36 units. The proposal included a municipal subsidized purchase. Residents who purchased the unit were required to track weekly usage during each week for 12 weeks. Sample tracking sheets were included in the guide and provided to each buyer. At the end of the 12 weeks, residents reported their usage and answered a number of survey questions. So the final report from Foodcycle Science has now been received, and it is attached to this report for council's information. So for a summary of the results, the pilot program demonstrated strong participation, high user satisfaction, and measurable waste diversion impacts. So for participation and behavior change, 95% of participants reported increased awareness of food waste and reduced waste behaviors. 100% would recommend the Foodcycler to others. 100% plan to continue using the unit after the pilot. 76% indicated a preference for a municipality-supported Foodcycler program over the organic waste options. Additionally, 90% of the participants believe others would participate in the program were it offered at a low or no cost. So for waste diversion environmental impact, approximately 237 kilograms of food waste diverted per household annually, total diversion of approximately 11.8 metric tons per year, reduction of approximately 0.78 garbage bags per household per week, so almost a bag a week, equivalent to approximately 2,025 fewer garbage bags annually, environmental benefit equivalent to 15.4 acres of forest carbon sequestration annually. So given the strong results and positive feedback, Foodcycle Science has proposed expanding the program. They propose to expand by an additional 100 units, but fully subsidized, so 100% subsidized for the residents, and a phased implementation approach. So right now we have 86 units out in the wild in Terrace Bay. And this would be an addition of 100 above and beyond that. So looking to do at least double it. But while administration does not recommend pursuing a fully subsidized expansion at this time, there is opportunity to build on the success of the current program in a more measured and sustainable way. So administration is interested in exploring the expanded program services, including foodalizer drop-off bins and carbon filter refill stations, as potential enhancements to support the existing users. These additions could improve the long-term sustainability of the program, increase resident engagement, and further reduce barriers for continued use. This approach would allow the township to strengthen the current program and generate increased interest while positioning for a potential future phase 3 pilot or expansion when the funding and capacity permit. So the proposed expansion of approximately 100 additional units at full subsidy would represent a significant financial commitment. At this time, the township experienced challenges fully distributing the units, including the need to donate the remaining units, approximately 6 units at the time. A fully subsidized expansion is not currently within the approved budget. So as such, administration does not recommend pursuing an additional large-scale rollout at this time. Future consideration of the expanded program services can be investigated and reviewed for potential inclusion in the 2027 budget cycle. So I have a few options before council tonight. So option A, that council receive the Foodcycler pilot program final results report for information. B, that council receive the Foodcycler pilot program final results round 2 report for information, and that administration be directed to explore extended program services, including the foodalizer drop-off bins, carbon filter refill stations for potential consideration in the 2027 budget. C, that council receive the Foodcycler pilot program final results, and that council direct administration otherwise. Or D, that council does not accept the report, and that council directs administration otherwise. Our recommendation this evening is option B, that council receive the Foodcycler pilot program final results round 2 report for information, and that administration be directed to explore the expanded program services, including foodalizer drop-off bins and carbon filter refill stations for potential consideration in 2027.
Any questions?
Gary, just one subscriber also does this program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe they jumped in on the second pilot for their first time.
I'd be really curious to find out their report too, to just determine how many bags we actually diverted away from our landfill. So it'd be, I could probably find out on my own, I guess, but if you happen to get them.
Yeah, because they don't present them to me,
Yeah.
they most likely present them to whoever ran them in Scriber, but if they do have it and share it, definitely easily pull those numbers to compare the two.
Have any other questions? Okay, thanks, Stacy. We have a motion moved by Councilor Webb, seconded by Councilor Dubé, resolved that council receive Foodcycler pilot program final results, report for information, and that the administration be directed to explore expanded program services, including foodalizer drop-off bins and carbon filter refill stations for potential consideration in the 2027 budget. All in favor, carried. Next one is under communications resolution of life support library. We have a motion moved by Councilor Dubé, seconded by Councilor Ayuno, whereas public libraries play a vital role in ensuring equitable access to information, literacy, education, and culture for all residents. And whereas interlibrary loan services are an essential component of public library operations, particularly for small and rural communities with limited local collections. And whereas reduced postal rates for library materials have historically enabled libraries to share resources efficiently and affordably across Canada. And whereas recent amendments to the Canada Post Corporation Act have removed the legislative requirement to provide reduced postal rates for library materials, creating uncertainty for the continued delivery of this essential service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Terrace Bay calls upon the Government of Canada to maintain and protect reduced rate postal distribution for libraries materials through legislation, and that Council requests that the Minister responsible for Canada Post ensure continued affordable postal access for libraries and interlibrary loan services, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable Joel Lightbound, Minister of Government Transformation, Public Works and Procurement, Patty Haidu, MP, Thunder Bay Superior North, Lise Bourgeois, MPP, Thunder Bay Superior North, and all Ontario municipalities for support. Any questions on that motion? Billy?
Yeah, I was gonna make a quick comment, Billy, on this. So this this came up and there was a letter writing campaign. The last library board meeting I went to, Mary, indicated that there was a very, rigorous letter writing campaign from all the library boards and, people across the country. And this so far has been extended. The rate is $1.90, if I'm not mistaken, per book. If that same book was to be shipped by regular Canada Post, it's $20, and with the current cost of shipping, probably going to be increasing here very soon. It's very important for us to to support this. So as of right now, they've decided to maintain it, but things change in the future. So looking for the future, this is, in my opinion, something that we should support, not just for now, because they're maintaining that $1.90 level, but into the future as things might potentially change. And just to reiterate what Mayor Malachowski says, ensures the continued affordable postage access for libraries and interlibrary loan systems. So in the next coming months or years ahead, this $1.90 can allow our residents in our community to access these materials for an affordable cost for community. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Just on the heels of what Chris is saying, yeah, it was reduced down to $1.84 as to the Canadian Postal Act that was also the third whereas recent amendments to the Canada Post Corporation Act have been removed, and the legislation requirement to provide reduced postal rates for libraries, well, that has been reversed as of February 2026. So that whereas is actually moved at this time, but I'm agreeing with Councillor Dubé that we send this just on the principle that we as a council and we as Terrace Bay are in favor of what's been put forward here.
No other questions? Okay, all in favor of that motion, carried. Okay, there was no other business or resolutions. Mike, do you have any questions? Anything online, Joe?
If there's any questions online, now's the time to ask. Second call for questions. And third and final call for questions.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that the next regular meeting of council be held on April 20th. All in favor? Carried. And the last motion, we have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Duno. Resolved that we now adjourn at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried.
Have a good meeting.
Thanks.